It's March 22nd, 2020. I'm doing Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3, which contains issues number 14 to 21. We'll give credit where credit is due. The writer is Brian Michael Bendis. Pencils is Mark Bagley. Inks is Art Thibert with Eric Benson. You got colors by Transparent Digital. Letters by Dave Sharp. Associate editor is Brian Smith, and editor is Ralph Macchio. Or Macchio. It kind of goes on. This is, I'm assuming, as by the looks of the cover, this is the Dr. Octopus saga. You kind of got a little bit of him in Volume 1, but, he wasn't Doc Ock. He was just another scientist. A really smart one, but just another scientist. So might as well just get right into it. Right off the bat, it starts off with a teacher asking the students to, in 1 week, you'll come in here and be a superhero. And then she explains, the more into the subject that she wants or whatever. But she's basically asking, you have to tell me why you are the way you are, and what your powers mean to you. Which that's a very interesting concept. Just for even the reader, but I don't know, man. It's pretty cool. I like the dialogue. And then you kind of got a quip from Kong and Flash ragging on each other. Well, Kong ragging on Flash. But so far, man, I don't know. It's a nice start off. Probably my favorite start off so far out of all 3 volumes that I've read. I guess today. I will say, personally, I've never really been a fan of Doc Ock. So he's just like a nerd with 4 extra arms. And especially when they did Superior Spider-Man, I was like, motherfucker. I mean, of course, who would want, a villain to, impose into your own body, pretty much to try to, ruin, well, not really ruin your life. I mean, I guess, start his own life as someone new. But that's besides the point. That's just, I guess, some gossip right there. I mean, for him to wake up and he's got 4 fucking arms attached to his body, and he's like, he doesn't understand why they're calling him Dr. Octopus. And I don't know, right now, obviously I cannot recall. I mean, I remember, I've read this, I just, fucking, it's been a while. I mean, I read this as teen, literally 10 years ago or something like that, so, anyway, it's kind of funny that he's just being, he's fucking waking up and he's got fucking, 4 arms attached to his body. I mean, it's just what the fuck, man? Imagine waking up like that. That would be shitty as fuck, man. On one side, you got 4 fucking metallic arms that you can control, but on the other side, man, you got fucking 4 extra body parts attached to your goddamn body. That's just, really fucked up. And if you look at, more in detail in the artwork, some of the skin is, starting to, droop over. It's, looking for another connection or something. I don't know. It's kind of fucked up. Because it's not even blood, man. That's not even blood. That's, literally skin just, growing around the metal. I thought there was I thought there was a girl that looked exactly like Gwen Stacy in the first volume, but I guess not. I mean, of course they're gonna explain how he got his fucking arms, but he just was conveniently wearing them when the explosion went off. I would like to look at Volume 1 to see if he was actually wearing. I think they might have shown it, but they might have just shown him on the ground. I'm gonna look at that real quick. He definitely was. I did not pick up on that. Alright, Doc Ock has a very good reason to be really pissed off. For this universe, anyway. I can't say necessarily for the other universe. I mean, he always just kind of came off as this, the dude who just thought he was the smartest guy ever. So I finished issue 14. It ends with Kong, or I guess his real name is Clifford, just kind of putting 2 and 2 together that Peter Parker might be Spider-Man. Then it shows 15 and 16, issues 15 and 16 together for some reason. I mean, I don't imagine they're going to be... it's kind of weird that they're... I don't know, it's weird. I mean, the trade paperback that I have, it's showing both the covers on the same page. I don't know why they would do that. There's probably some good. I noticed in like volume 2 they had like some places where there probably would be like advertisement or whatever, and they just kind of had this like wallpaper or whatever. They were probably just like making it easier on themselves, saving like a page. I don't remember Gwen Stacy having a fucking knife, man. Seeing those Wolverine claws definitely made me want to read Ultimate X-Men now. I mean, to be specific, there's Wolverine claws and marks into a fucking in walls right now. But there's also like a dead body, so it's just like, what the fuck happened? The conversation between Ben Ulrich and Captain Stacy, talking about the big picture and stuff. You're just kind of talking about the bigger message. It's bigger than that conversation that they're having, because journalists are trying to take down evil and corruption. Something obviously trying to find out the truth. I guess the righteous journalists or whatever. But Captain Stacy's just saying like think of the bigger picture. Now we have like 300 fucking dudes just like fucking trying to do whatever they can to become the next Kingpin, essentially. Or at least taking their ground or whatever. So there's probably like a bunch of turf wars going on. Anyway, I think Spider-Man or Peter Parker as Spider-Man really handled that J. Jonah Jameson. Like that's their first encounter. Basically calling him out on his bullshit. I don't know if it adds up, but that like crime scene, I think was that one woman. There was a woman that was working on. She got murdered, I believe, by Doc Ock, and I think it's because that was his place before the whole thing happened, and he was presumed dead or whatever. So I don't know if the X-Men fought Doc. I mean, because there were fucking claw marks in the wall and shit. So yeah, I don't know. Could be just coincidence. So at first, I really didn't like the Doc Ock monologue. It was kind of similar like with the whole Gwen Stacy monologue. It kind of seemed a little cheesy at first, but you let it simmer, I guess. You have a little patience. It kind of like draws out, and it kind of like with the Gwen Stacy thing, like she gave a good point that and once again it came off a little like it was a little cheesy at first, but and there was just a lot. She said a lot for sure, but that was her opening monologue. The first time, I guess, you get to see Gwen Stacy in the Ultimate Universe. But and she was kind of saying like, if you play the guitar, if you can write really good, or you blah 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 or whatever, that's your superpower, and you can just you have that, and no one else has it, and if you get really good at it, blah 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 blah. And then with this case, Octavius, he was just basically saying that he's going to tear down everything that the corporation or company that he was working for, which I think was Osborn, that he's gonna destroy everything because of they could have taken off the fucking arms, but they fucking didn't. That's just that's really fucked up, man. I mean, I guess in a sense, like gives a reason, like not every villain is they're evil because of I don't know, the wrong that was done to them. And I guess there's ways of doing it. Think about like Punisher. Punisher. He's really definitely an anti-hero in this matter. Even Spider-Man. Think about what he did in the last volume. Taking down Kingpin. He did it, I would say, in the cleanest way possible. He messed up. That was probably his biggest fucking case that he had done to that point. He attacking the Enforcers was not a good idea. He was able to do that because he's got a secret identity. But he grows. He learns. So like if Spider-Man had fucking 4 arms attached to his body, if Peter Parker had 4 arms attached to his body, who knows if he'd be acting the same way. So it just kind of gives off the personality or the nature of these characters. And Doc Ock is just he's angry. And that has made him, I guess, evil, or at least very destructive as a human being to other human beings. Nice little Kraven the Hunter cameo. So there have been mentions of a creature in the sewer, which presumably will be Lizard, and based on this one, there's like 6 TVs. One showing Kraven the Hunter, another one showing the Hulk, another one showing presumably Tony Stark, but also, I mean, like a picture of Iron Man behind him, and I would say Sauron on the left, the bottom left, and just a news reporter on the bottom center. Nice little, once again, like, little fucking, nods and, what else is going on in the world, I guess. I mean, because, once again, I don't know how closely related. I know that, like, in comic books, especially nowadays, they really they like to sometimes, like, have, like, little, like, nods to other comic books, kind of, like, entice you to want to read what's going on in the other comic books, because you might miss something. Or it just looks interesting enough that you want to read it, but, like, once again, it is kind of advertising in a way. It's kind of, it's just, I don't know, man, like, I in my opinion, I think they kind of get away with it because, like, it's all in their own universe. And yes, it is probably to sell some comics, but, at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't think that... I don't know. Is that a bad thing? To some people, it depends on the situation. I've said this in the past, like, I'm sure... I don't know if they've ever done this before, but, like, if, say, something happened in the Ultimate X-Men, you wouldn't know what the fuck happened in a particular moment in Ultimate Spider-Man because you didn't read the Ultimate X-Men issue. You'd be like, what the fuck? No, but anyway, I digress. I wonder how often, offspring of authority end up defying that authority because, like, basically they know they can get away with some, more than what most can. Just like in this case with, like, Gwen and, her father, who's captain of the fucking, police, the police force. I just once again, is it just like, is it just like something that just happens all the time? Every now and again. I don't know. Just it is kind of interesting that they do put that dynamic into the fucking in the comic. I guess the real question with Ben Ulrich is he doing it for fame, notoriety, that he's taking down these, big cases, or is he, trying to actually help, or is it a little bit of both? Alright, I didn't know, but Captain Stacy's first name is John. Ben Ulrich, in a way, is helping the police force, or helping John out. He's kind of giving him some information, kind of like, telling him, because John did not know that the place was that the woman that was killed. So actually, I guess I believe it is kind of it works. It's all it makes sense. I don't know why the fuck they would bring up 2 different murders or whatever, but shit happens. Anyway, John did not know that Otto owned that place, so he's gonna look into it. So it seems like Ben's trying to help out, but also trying to help himself out. I'm sure. He seems like a good guy anyway. I'm not sure when 15 ended and 16 began, but I just finished. I finished 16. Is what I guess I'm getting at. And now I'm seeing issues 17, 18, and 19 in the cover, which kind of sucks. I think they are trying to save like a page or 2, but the artwork's really nice. I guess within 15 or 16, you got like Doc Ock kind of like fucking like running around. I guess he's got amnesia apparently. I don't know how much of that's true. Sharon Carter, if I remember right. Yeah, Sharon Carter, SHIELD agent, which I think she actually has blonde hair in 616. But I don't know. That's maybe she's just doing red hair right now. But you're kind of getting more of an explanation as to, I guess, like, with what the fuck happened with Doc Ock, the fucking, and, you're seeing, like, these SHIELD agents kind of walking around, they talk to Captain Stacy, and as they're kind of talking with, one of the, I guess, I don't know if it's Osborn or per se, I don't know, but, wherever Doc Ock broke into, that's what's going on. Like, at the end of 16, the 2 SHIELD agents, Sharon Carter and one other guy, are talking to this one older man. They didn't really kind of give his name as far as I saw. But Spider-Man's there and he's kind of listening in, and I guess he like his he moved his head down, I guess, and they noticed him and started shooting at him, and that kind of cut off there. And then at the end of 16, you got Kraven, saying that he's gonna be hunting Spider-Man. And he says he's gonna kill him, which is, that's fucking, that's murdering someone. So I don't know. This guy is apparently like a fucking public TV dude or whatever the fuck. So I don't know, man. It's some fucking crazy shit. It's interesting that adding a little bit more of a dynamic. That Kraven's not even really. I guess for on TV he's like I'm gonna take out fucking Spider-Man, but in private he's kind of like I'm still kind of not down with doing this kind of shit. And like, well, it's fucking too late now. And I guess I didn't even remember Kraven being this sudden. I thought this was pretty much gonna be all fucking Doc Ock. But it's nice to have a couple villains. Like I think with movies they always want to throw like 2 or 3 villains in there because there's just such a giant rogues gallery for Spider-Man. But there's often not enough time. With this, I think there's like 8 issues for this volume. I don't know if it honestly finishes with Kraven and Spider-Man fighting, or if it's going to continue on a little bit later. But I don't know. It is. I don't think it. I think it's still kind of naturally flowing. I guess like kind of foreshadowing what's already to come, and kind of also like taking place. Because this is. I guess in this case, like this has almost nothing to do with what's going on. With obviously the Doc Ock thing. But Spider-Man's just fucking eating some cereal, and he sees that Kraven's proclaiming that he's gonna kill Spider-Man. So it's just nice little foreshadowing. So I'm really trying not to go too off tangent from the topic of everything. But it does kind of relate. Kind of says like 1 week later, and the teacher's kind of talking about, the same teacher from the very start of the book is now kind of talking about how Nixon and Kennedy, there was the first presidential debate for them. They say people in the room thought that Nixon had won the debate, but everyone watching on TV thought that Kennedy had won. And with recently, you got with the whole Democratic side. With Republicans nowadays, obviously it's all Trump for the most part. But the Democrat side, in the recent debate, it doesn't matter. Who did well or whatever. I guess it mattered, but I guess in the case, no one really fucked up. It seemed. There wasn't really any fact checking. If there was, it probably would have made a difference. But it kind of just showed once again, Biden just looks okay. So everyone's kind of Biden's already got that household name. Bernie really doesn't, and if he does have a name, it's just pretty much he's the communist, he's the socialist. Whereas Biden's like, well, he used to be, vice president. So, it's just kind of, and, a lot of people aren't even paying attention to the debates. Really, so there's no doubt that, debates can often, show, depending on the questions, depending on, the allotted time for each person, and then obviously, the changing of subjects, etc. I'm not sure if they had said this before, but they're saying Justin Hammer's limousine. So I guess it's the Hammers that fucked up Hammer Industries. Okay, research facility, and apparently that's all the whole Doc Ock thing. All right, and I just wanted to also say that they're really painting Gwen Stacy to be like the authority defying rebel, but also kind of like this true justice sense as well. So she's not just like people are kind of portraying her. It's some of this classmates like Mary Jane thinks that she's crazy or nuts. Peter thinks it. Obviously Kong fucking called her a skank. She's calling him a birth defect. It's just they are throwing like a lot of drama into this. There's definitely some elements. It definitely has like kind of like that movie magic kind of like school drama, but at the same time though, there are some real aspects. Just from high school alone, I could definitely say there was definitely like this kind of there's people bullying. It just I think that it's not too far off from being like very buttered up. I guess there's like a lot more bullying just like nonstop like in the first fucking couple of issues, and this series is just like nonstop bullying, but it seems to have calmed down a little bit. So Hammer, they made hypothetically Doc Ock, they made Sandman, and they've made Electro. As far as I've seen, it's kind of fucking interesting. Well, actually, I don't know if Doc Ock was made hypothetically with Hammer. I don't know if they did that, or if that was like the government, because he was found in a federal thing. I'm talking about Doc Ock. Wherever he was taking away the jersey or whatever. So I don't know who did what. I'm not sure. I think it was actually by not exactly Shield, but it was. I don't know. The U.S. government rather. I don't know if it was the U.S. government or if it was Hammer Industries. There's a real quick mention of Eddie Brock. He works for the Daily Globe at this moment. No picture of him yet. Now, I'm not much of a fan of Doc Ock, but I gotta give him props. Like having 4 fucking metallic arms would be like, he could kick most people's asses. I just want to mention that the fighting's been pretty natural. The pacing, the paneling out for the pacing for the panels, it's pretty fantastic. The quips that Spider-Man has are pretty funny. Doc Ock is asking Spider-Man, "What are you, law enforcement, Shield?" And he's like, "Oh yes, I know. You're one of Justin Hammer's homemade soldiers." And he's kind of like, "Well, what is it? What's the case?" And all Spider-Man can say is, he's like, "No, I'm the haircut police. There's a $50 fine for bowl cuts in this city." And Doc Ock says, "I like my hair." So I don't know, man. It's just kind of, let's get not the funniest quips, but it's just still, I don't know. I like the dialogue, man. It's a pretty goddamn good. I was gonna say film, good fucking comic. For sure, this could be, definitely has like cinematic elements for it. For sure. Spider-Man got his ass whooped. Hey man, fucking Doc Ock is a fucking true menace. So issue 19 ends with Hammer about trying to confront Doc Ock. Well, because I guess Doc Ock, got into his fucking lab that had all the illegal shit going on. The Sandman and all that. Spider-Man or Peter Parker and Mary Jane are kind of having like a little bit of like a little fight again. Mary Jane's asked if Peter liked Gwen Stacy at all, and he said she's probably the most interesting person around than everyone that we know, which probably hurt Mary Jane's feelings a little bit. But I will say, yes, they're probably saving like a page or two doing these covers together, because now I see on the next page 20 and 21, which look pretty fantastic, especially the Craven artwork. But once again, like it kind of like I don't know how many pages are per issue. I don't know when fucking 18 ended or when 17 ended. Kind of just like all was one cohesive whole. And I don't know, kind of like how long were each issue? Because I know, like, obviously once again, like, issue 1 was pretty fucking thick, but then, like, there were a couple of issues that were thin, and 20 and 21, once again, they don't really show. The book's pretty thick, it's 8 issues long. I'd say it's probably as equal length as the other 2 books. But they definitely, as time has gone on, like, they added way more advertising and like way less pages. I've talked about this in the past. Once again, it's interesting that there's 2 villains, kind of like. Well, I don't know if Craven's. I guess he's a villain in a way. They kind of just make him as like this reality TV show host, I guess. Showsman, performer, whatever. I think that they tried to making this into like a movie or something like that. I just wouldn't. I just don't think it'd work so well. I don't know. I just feel like there'd be too much stuff going on. But in the comic book world, I don't know. It just feels right. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. If I remember right, I mean they end up doing like a Hollywood chapter for Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man. But I think it has something to do with this because like they have right now Spider-Man is fighting Doc Ock. And they're rolling camera, so they got like all this live footage right now. Craven's on his fucking way to go and at least mess up fucking Spider-Man a little bit. Like I said, there's like news coverage on Spider-Man and Doc Ock fighting, and one of the questions they ask is, why is Spider-Man risking his own life to spare the life of Hammer, who has been so hostile to him in the press? And if you go back to the very beginning of the book, where the teacher's asking, let me just get the direct dialogue. 1 second, literally. Why you are the way you are and what your powers mean to you. You describe who you are and what you do. You can make up a character, or you can use one of the real ones that seem to be popping up all over Madison Avenue. You can be one of the good guys or the bad guys. Your call. So, and you can clearly see. I mean, once again, Spider-Man. It's like asking that question. Like, if someone's hanging off a cliff, are you going to save them? And it's like, for the most part, if you're a hero or if you're a good person, I mean, I myself, I would probably save them no matter who they are for the most part. And then it just kind of asks that question, and gets into, I would say even a deeper range, say like Hitler, or, someone who's just, a mass rapist or whatever, they're hanging off a cliff. I mean, would you want to save them? And then like it kind of then goes, I mean, like, I said it was deeper, but I mean, like, in a sense, like, I mean, like, you'd want to probably let this person, fall or whatever. I mean, like, depending on the situation. I mean, like, but, because, I mean, like, think about, like, if, say, like, you ran into the bunker, like Hitler's bunker, for example, and you were the one that had to take him out, I mean, like, would you pull the trigger? Or, I mean, like, do you, I guess, ask the question, I mean, if, do you kill the person who's, caused so much damage, or do you just, like, leave them in isolation? Would you just subdue them and then just, like I said, just get them in isolation? Make them live out their days, think about what they've done, and they're kind of stuck. I mean, the only thing is you can, there's a slight chance that maybe they'll break out or whatever, but, yeah, I don't know. It just really shows, Spider-Man or Peter Parker, the character, this individual is a very, very good-natured or nice-natured, justice-based individual, I guess. I guess you could say Punisher is also a justice-based individual, but anyway, I digress. I will say, though, for someone who gets bullied a lot, Spider-Man does bully Doc Ock like a motherfucker. He just pants the motherfucker. Dude, like, that's fucking... I don't know how often Spider-Man has had to pants an enemy, but, I don't know, man. I mean, he takes, he made fun of Kingpin for his weight. He's fucking got everybody down. I guess in a sense he's kind of bullying the bully. Even though, like, in this sense, like, Doc Ock was really fucked up, and he has kind of sort of a reason to act out how he acted out, but, well, he has a reason to be angry, but not a reason to act out the way he has, I guess. I mean, maybe perhaps if the pacing of the camera work were to be done right, I think that maybe this potentially could be turned into a movie, but for the most part, I mean, like, it's, I do like that, Kraven, fucking now Spider-Man's got to deal with Kraven. I think, I think they kind of fight, but then I think like it kind of goes into the next issue, or I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, got to finish the comic, but and once again, I'm sure I'm on like the last issue by this point. Yeah, but once again, I mean, I'll say it again. The artwork's pretty nice. The paneling is great. The fucking, it's when you literally, you work for Marvel and you're fucking, this is a big important. I mean, I don't know how important, but I mean, I'd say it probably is important by this point. If they're, I'm sure it did well for sales. These are top professionals. So, but that doesn't always mean that just because you're a top professional, that doesn't mean that the work can be great. Sometimes it's fucking trash. Dude, honestly, I really like this, this interaction that Kraven and Spider-Man, because Kraven's, in this, fucking, he's in a reality TV show world right now. He's attacking Spider-Man when there's a guy who's fucking had a heart attack and is probably dead, and they need help, and, Spider-Man's trying to help him, trying to be a hero, and you got Kraven literally attacking him. It's fucking, it's crazy, man. Oh, I guess he just got knocked out with one punch. An uppercut. That's fucking hilarious. Fucking A, man. Honestly, they made it. They really, once again, I read this entire, I read the entire series. Once through, not multiple times or anything like that. But, it was definitely, at least 10 years ago. But dude, that's fucking hilarious, man. Honestly, that's I felt like for the Avengers movie, or I think it was the first Avengers movie, or whenever the fuck Loki got his ass kicked by the Hulk, I thought it was funny, but at the same time though, it was it was, I guess this was the similar moment right here. I thought it was gonna be so much more chalked up, and if they did this maybe for the fucking movie, I think that would have been fucking awesome. I haven't seen honestly the newest movie, Homecoming, and the other one, the sequel. They've rebooted it so many fucking times. I thought Amazing Spider-Man was pretty cool, but then the sequel sucked really bad. Obviously the third movie kind of just had too many villains going on. There was just too much going on. So it just, I don't know. I kind of stepped away from, and I just wish he wasn't a fucking, a kid. They keep on making, obviously, in Ultimate Spider-Man, yeah, he's 15 or 16 years old, whatever. But the Spider-Man that we know, that we've known for a while, this guy now owns his own company. You know what I mean? So at the very least, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I guess the hardest thing with making fucking movies is just you always want to keep the same actors and the same actresses, which is I think they lost fucking Robert Downey Jr. You got Hugh Jackman. I think he's not doing Wolverine anymore. They could potentially just replace the role with somebody else, but or literally replace the character with somebody else. But I guess I digress in that matter. But I don't know. As for a trilogy goes, this is really not, Spider-Man's finally getting retribution, literally live footage. You can't even deny it anymore. He's saving people. DC's an aggressor, literally attacking him, and he literally is only doing attacks him in self-defense. Some of this dialogue was kind of funny. He's okay, yeah, thanks. Anybody headed back towards Manhattan? I kind of need a ride. And the reporter's that was amazing. He's not really. 2 people died. He's did you know Justin Hammer? He's no. Dude, this is fucking hilarious. I should say the reason why Spider-Man said, okay, yeah, thanks, is because people were clapping for him, because he, I guess he did a good job. Aunt May has Peter Parker in a fucking chokehold, metaphorically, right now. So Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, gets grounded. Spider-Man is now redeemed essentially. So the problem that he was having has now been flipped. His private life is now in fucking shambles, and his fucking Spider-Man persona is fucking making waves. So issue 21 ends with Doc Ock in jail or prison or whatever, in federal fucking confinement. But he now can recall Peter Parker, and he's now put 2 and 2 together that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. I think it's a pretty nice start for the series. Pretty enticing. Makes me, the question is, do I want to still read comics? And the answer is yes. In fact, I kind of want to pick up Volume 4 already. I'd like to pick up all of them, but, it might be better to save a little bit of money before I do something stupid like that. I would love to just, because, it's only fucking $5 here, it's only $6 there, but that shit adds up for sure. And I'm in no place to just, willy-nilly spend money. Thanks for listening if you got this far. Take care. Have a good night, afternoon, evening, day, morning, whatever. Just that question. Just who do you want to be? What was it? Let me pull it up. That's something I'm gonna try to contemplate on. Why you are the way you are, and what your powers mean to you. Take care.